Hello, divine ones. This is Minister Ashley. Today's topic, I wanted to dive into what is witchcraft.
Just like magic, I'm attracted. I get everything I want 'cause I attract you.
I do have a video entitled What is Magic, and that deals more with the esoteric principles, but here I want to talk more about what the craft is. So first, let's address what a witch is. A witch is a wise woman. A wizard is a wise man. Throughout ancient cultures, they were revered. They were highly esteemed. They were knowledgeable. They were your doctor, your astrologer, your healer, your advisor, your therapist, all wrapped up into one. And even your priest, a lot of times, your confidant. So they would live on the outskirts of villages because, first of all, they needed isolation to really be able to meditate and to grow their own herbs and spices. And they needed that time and that concentration to focus on the divine downloads, to be able to have their head pointed to the sky so they can receive those astrological messages. So they were secluded. And when people needed a remedy, they would go to them on the outskirts of the villages, and they would have a one-to-one consultation with them. They would receive their healing a lot of times in private. Sometimes they would have to recruit other members from the villages or either other practitioners to address more serious matters. A lot of times these witches and wizards knew the grandparents, knew the great-grandparents, knew the parents, and then knew the child. They were there for generations. They helped to even birth some of the children into the world, coming from the spiritual realms and ushering through the portal into the physical realms. Some of them were midwives. Some of them were doulas or doulos. I guess that's what you would call a male birthing specialist, a doulo. I don't know. Somebody comment that down below. But regardless, they were like your all-in-one healing source. And being that they knew about the astros, they knew about the cosmos, they knew a person's birth chart. And it wasn't a birth chart in a traditional sense, as we have technology now. This was from observing the stars on their own and forming their own calculations and intuitively being connected to the divine that they knew. And when they would help to bring these souls into the world, they had a spiritual connection to each and every one of the people in their village. So this was a deep practice. I spoke about this in one of the lectures that I had with Reverend Love on her channel, and I will have it listed over here, about the practice of pharmakia and how astrology, medicine, magic, and herbalism were all worked in tandem. They were not separate categories as they are now. Really, you had your wizards and your witches that did everything. You know, they even knew how to fight. They knew everything, you know. So with that being said, when you encounter the phrase, the title of witch or wizard, you now have a better understanding of what this means. It's not just someone that throws together a spell or recite an incantation or just decides to throw words together and herbs and all of these things together. You can have a better understanding that this is really, first of all, it is a spiritual calling, but then you do have where you may, altogether, I really feel like it's a spiritual calling. Even if you have like someone that may only reach a certain pinnacle in their practice, that's still, I think, a spiritual calling, because when you really are into it and when you are really like, this is your lifestyle, that is a spiritual calling. Now, you do have some people that like to use the word and they may or may not know what it entails. And, that's okay too. We are all here to express ourselves, okay? So with the practice, the craft, that is a practice. So witchcraft is a practice. Now, I have so many different videos addressing about magic and divination in the Bible. And you guys know that I do have an ebook, and I am converting it into a paperback book that I have really dug deep for this. I have so many practices of divination and magic in this book that will highlight what the Bible, to really be able to to highlight what is in the Bible and to be able to decipher the condemnable practices versus the practices that the high priest would do. And I have a lot of research, and you guys are really going to like this new edition of the book. But anyways, now fast forward past the ancient cultures into the different diasporas, into the various tearing down of villages and separating people from their spirituality. And this is a tactic to remove the power from the communities that were very powerful. You know, even if they were small, they don't have to be big to be mighty and strong and well knit and had a powerful connection to the divine source as well as to one another. I think a lot about Avatar would probably be a good illustration of how these villages were, you know, ones that were really balanced. So with that being said, it's like they had a interconnection with everyone, like I previously mentioned, and a deep connection to nature. This is where we get the practices of divination. It comes through observation, no different than a science. And that's where we get a lot of our sciences from divination. Okay, so now when you are starting your practice, you can have a better understanding about what witch and wizard means. Now, you do have those that they still were very powerful and they were still very connected to their craft, but they used their craft for, I would say, for power, but power in a sense to harm others. This is where the scriptures that are condemnable speak of, where you had to sacrifice, literally sacrifice a human. Now, yes, the high priest sacrificed, from all of my knowledge that I've gathered, have sacrificed animals, although Abraham was willing to sacrifice his child. But that's for another topic. But anyways, there are condemnable ones in, you know, human sacrifice, pretty much. Throughout history, conquering of tribes, tearing down tribes, separating them, selling them into slavery, and this is throughout, you know, thousands of years of history. It's continual that a lot of those practices were lost, but that a lot of them were really, really lost during the antiquity, where the church was being established. I actually just did another lecture about the hidden divine feminine. When it is published, I will let you guys know in the community tab. The real power of the church comes from really the divine feminine principle, and I talk about that in that lecture. But through the expansion of the church, they murdered tens of thousands of witches because they knew that the power was in really a lot of cases in the women, and of course men too, but really with the women, as they helped to birth the next generation, they helped to raise the next generation, but also they were herbalists, healers, astrologers. They held a lot of the power. So that's where a lot of the demonizing of witches came from. And still to this day, so many people, you would think they would have, wisened up and really done some research, but they're still brainwashed against witches and magic and divination in the craft. They get a bad rap, especially when people talk about hexes and curses. Now, I am going to do a video about generational curses and what curses and hexes really are and how you can combat them. So make sure that you do subscribe as well, like this video and share it if you care to do so. Now, your power lies within your wisdom. What wisdom you can impart onto another. So whenever you are working a ritual or a spell, a magic, incantation, or anything, what wisdom are you bringing to yourself? And what wisdom are you imparting onto others? That is really truly the root of it. You can practice a craft, you can put a spell out there, but it's like, what is the ultimate goal? Fruit that you desire from your intentions. Even if it's just to impart wisdom upon yourself, that therefore will be beneficial to those that are surrounding you, that is good. Because really at the essence, it's all about energy work, but it's also about give and take, the law of reciprocity, What are you willing to give in order to receive? And a lot of times the giving is what wisdom will you be able to impart and pass down to another. That's why all great practitioners had someone, an understudy, or someone that worked with them or slightly under them, or they left some type of scrolls or papyri to impart the wisdom onto another. And that's the real key, because you are working with the universal laws. I mentioned this on my other channel about whenever you see the word God in a scripture, that is pertaining to the universal laws. Sometimes it can be pertaining to yourself in the situation, how you are working with the universal laws. But overall, whenever you see the word God, it is referring to the universal laws, the 12 universal laws. And when you learn how to work with those universal laws, you are in harmony with the universe. You are fully in harmony. And when that harmony, it comes with working with the laws and working with them in nature on a universal level. And universal also includes universally for the world, for humanity. What are you giving back to humanity? Regardless of what branch you may work with, it is all about that, learning those laws and how to work with them to benefit yourself, but will also benefit humanity as a whole. And when you benefit just your family, they're connected to someone, and those people are connected to another. So when you help yourself and then you also help your family or friends, you are also helping humanity. And with that, we also know that it's about free will. How are you utilizing your free will? Are you taking away someone else's free will? There is the law of karma, and you have to understand about the law of karma. So there's, without going too deep into a lot of the other principles to go into it, that what you put out, you will also receive. And that is a notation to wisdom. A lot of times when people get into the craft, they get into it, either they have a desire that they cannot obtain, or they think they can't obtain on their own, or either they want to get revenge. They want to be more powerful than other people that maybe have harmed them, or a group of people. And that's not the best reason to get into the craft. However, everybody has a starting point. And as you really continue and you really are seeking wisdom, okay, the wisdom. The whiz, and wit are both where the wisdom in the word resides. When you are really seeking that and seeking to receive that and then therefore give it, then you will see what the error of your ways are, and you will know how to transform that. As I continued on my journey, I may start off with like, it was interesting to me. Number one, I felt called to it. But as well, you have earthly desires. And through the tests and trials of obtaining those desires, that I wisened up. I would seek more wisdom, and I would give more wisdom. And then more wisdom was given to me. And my eyes were illuminated to my part in situations. And it helped to wisen me. I'm telling you, the wisdom is what they call the forbidden fruit. And when you really get that fruit, and what I mean by forbidden, so you have, regular wisdom. And regular wisdom is pretty much predicated on the laws of man, But then you have like highly regarded heavenly wisdom that you receive, and that will be considered like forbidden fruit, because like you can see on a universal level. That's what I mean. And when you have that universal level of wisdom, it's like you are unstoppable, like literally. And this is what I mean by the Christ mind. The mind that is above human circumstances, but can still relate, because the heart of compassion can still relate to humans. But however, you have the Christ mind where you can look down on a situation and you can see all facets of the situation. Just a side note, so this is not really like a step-by-step. It's more so like sharing and imparting wisdom that people are looking for, like real quick fixes and real quick things to happen and manifestations to happen so quick. And I've been there. And as I continue to grow in my craft and in my wisdom, that taking my time, it's okay. Because today I initially had another video I was going to film, and I started filming it, and it was to restock my shop for this Saturday. And you know, I was like, I'm good. I'm not going to try to rush through it. I'm good, because it's all about energy. Okay, well, I hope that this video made some sense. How I sort of kind of was just like talking, you know, maybe I was just talking, but you know, just chit-chatting. I believe it was some wisdom in here for those that are really seeking it. That's the real essence of what a witch and a wizard is. Okay, so like, share, and subscribe. The shop is opening up on this Saturday, on the 20th. I will have it restocked, so be prepared for the money oils, the love oils, candles, oracle decks. Those already been, you know, there. Of course, my PDF downloads with the learning content, and the Florida water kits. Those are so popular. Everybody, like, they love those. Okay, but yeah, so you guys pick up the ebook on Amazon. As of right now, the paperback book will be out next month. Right now. Okay, all right. But check out the other videos on this channel as well as on my mother channel, FD1111 Ministries. And I will have all of the videos that I listed. It will be like in the description box for you guys to check out for those other lectures that I did. And I will talk to you on the next video. All right, many blessings. Peace.